I played Roblox with this girl almost every day. We met randomly on a server, started joining the same games all the time, and after about a week, she was already calling me her boyfriend. I was fine with it because playing with her was actually fun. She would message me first, invite me whenever she got online, and wait for me if I was busy. Everything felt normal until one day she invited me to play with her friends, and in about 10 minutes, the way she treated me completely changed. I wasn't even nervous before joining. I thought I was just going to meet her friend group, play for a while, and maybe make some new friends. But when I got into the server, there were about 5 people there, and every single one of them had an account that looked like they lived inside Roblox. Huge pets, expensive pickaxes, tons of areas unlocked, millions of power. Compared to them, I looked like a complete beginner with a free avatar and the first pickaxe in the game. At first, nobody really said anything. Then one of the guys asked how long I had been playing. I told him I had only just started. He looked at my account and asked my girlfriend something like, "Wait, seriously, this is your boyfriend?" Everyone started laughing, and I laughed too, because I didn't want them to think I was upset. Then that guy started following me around on purpose, showing off his items and asking how much power I had. Every time I told him my number, he laughed again and said he could get that much in a couple of minutes. But the worst part wasn't even him. I kept waiting for her to tell them to stop, or at least say that she didn't care what my account looked like. She just stayed quiet. Then she said I had only recently started playing, and maybe one day I would finally get strong too. After that, they all moved into the next area, but I couldn't even enter it yet. She stayed near me for a moment, then said she didn't want to wait and went with them. I spent another 5 minutes trying to get enough power while watching all of them continue playing without me. Then I just left the server. She messaged me almost immediately and asked why I disappeared. I told her I had to go. She said I was acting weird and that everyone was only joking. I didn't bother explaining anything because it was already obvious. If she really didn't care, she wouldn't have left me alone in the first area just so she could keep up with them. The next day, she didn't message me at all. I opened Roblox and saw that she was playing with the same group again. Then I noticed that the rich guy was constantly standing next to her. He was giving her pet, helping her unlock areas, and she was sending him hearts in the chat. I still thought maybe I was overreacting, so I messaged her and asked if we were going to play that day. She replied hours later and said she was busy, even though I could see that she had been online with them the entire time. The next day, she told me we should just be friends. She said we were too different and that playing with me wasn't fun anymore. I didn't even ask what too different meant, because a week earlier, none of this had been a problem. She saw people with more expensive accounts and suddenly decided I was boring. I removed her from my friends list and honestly planned to stop playing that game completely. But then I remembered the way that guy laughed at my first pickaxe, the way she walked into the next area without even looking back, and I decided I wanted to test something. I wanted to know whether the only thing she cared about was the account. So I joined the game again, bought a few boosts, and started grinding. At first, I only wanted to unlock the second area, the one they had left me behind in. But with the boosts, everything started moving much faster. I kept switching to better pickaxes, opening new layers, selling what I mined, and going straight back down. After a while, I had already gone farther than their entire group had reached that day. Other players started walking up to me and asking where I got my pickaxes. One person even added me and asked if we could play together. It was funny because just a few days earlier, nobody had even noticed me. But I didn't want to show up on my main account and let my ex see that I had become stronger. If I did that, she could easily pretend she had never cared about the items in the first place. So I changed everything. I made a completely different avatar, used a different username, and picked the most basic free girl skin I could find so none of her friends would ever think it was me. The account still had all the power, pickaxes, and unlocked areas, but from the outside, I looked like a random girl who had just joined the game. I found the server where she was playing with her friends and joined them. For the first few minutes, nobody even noticed me. I just mined nearby and acted like I had no idea who they were. Then the same guy saw my pickaxe, walked over, and asked how I had so much power. A minute later, she was standing next to him. She came over almost immediately, looked at my account, then at my pickaxe, and said hi. I just said hi back. A minute later, she was already asking how long I had been playing and whether I wanted to mine with them. The funniest part was that a week earlier, I had been trying to keep up with them, and now they were the ones following me around. around. That guy suddenly became really friendly too. He started showing me his areas, asking what pets I had and how much power I was making. I kept my answers short and didn't tell them anything personal. I wanted to see how quickly their attitude would change when they thought I was a strong player. A few minutes later, she sent me a friend request and I accepted it. After that, we started playing almost every day. Only now, everything was completely reversed. Before, I used to wait for her to be free. Now she was always the one messaging first. Sometimes I hadn't even opened Roblox yet and there would already be several messages from her asking if I was playing, where I was, and saying everyone was waiting for me. I started taking longer to reply on purpose. Sometimes I would wait an hour or two before joining and she would still be there when I finally showed up. A couple of days later, she started talking about her ex-boyfriend. Of course, she had no idea she was talking about me. She said she used to play with this guy, but he was boring and stopped trying after a while. I almost laughed because that wasn't even what happened. I had only left after she abandoned me in the first area. I asked why they broke up and she said she eventually realized they were too different. So I asked what she would do if that guy suddenly became one of the strongest players in the game. She waited a little before answering, then said things probably would have been different. That was all I needed to hear. The next day, she asked if I could help her level up faster. I agreed. We unlocked new areas together and I gave her pets and items I didn't need anymore. Every time I helped her, she kept saying how lucky she was to meet someone like me. That part bothered me more than anything else because she had already met someone like me. I just didn't have expensive pickaxes back then. After a few days, she barely played with her old friends anymore. She was constantly inviting only me. Sometimes they would ask her to join them and she would say she was busy, even though we were just running around the map together. Then something happened that I really wasn't expecting. She asked if I had Discord. I gave her a new account so she wouldn't connect it to me. We started calling sometimes, but I kept my microphone quiet and spoke as little as possible so she wouldn't recognize my voice. One night while we were talking, she suddenly said she thought she was starting to like me. I acted like I didn't understand what she meant and changed the subject, but a few minutes later, she brought it up again. She said she hadn't met anyone this nice in Roblox for a long time. She liked the way I treated her and she felt comfortable around me. I was sitting there listening to her say all of that to the same person. She had recently left because his account looked weak, so I decided to finish the test. The next day, I told her I had run out of Robux and probably wouldn't be able to buy any more boosts or help her progress as quickly. She didn't answer right away, and for the first time since meeting my new account, she didn't invite me to play. I didn't message her again. I just waited. The next day, she never messaged me. I didn't message her either. Almost the entire day went by, and that evening, I decided to check what she was doing. I joined the server without saying anything, and guess who she was playing with? The same rich guy. She was running around with him again, unlocking new areas, laughing in chat, trading pets, like the last few days with me had never happened. I didn't say a word, I just left. A couple of hours later, she finally texted me, "Hey, where did you go?" I replied, "I was busy." She immediately started explaining that she only played with her friends because I wasn't online. Funny, because just yesterday, she had told me they were annoying. That was the moment I decided to do one last test. The next day, I messaged her from my fake account and said I bought more Robux so we could keep grinding together. She replied in less than a minute. She joined instantly. Everything was back to normal. Smiley faces, jokes. She was following me around the map again, like nothing had happened. Then she started flirting again. She told me she hadn't met someone this kind in a long time. She said her last relationship was a mistake. She wished she had met me sooner. So I asked her one question. What if your ex texted you tomorrow? She answered almost immediately, "No, it's over. I don't need anyone else." I just stared at the screen because she was saying all of that to her ex. She just didn't know it. I logged off my fake account, waited about 10 minutes, then I logged back in on my real account. I sent her a message. "Hey," she replied almost instantly. "Hi," that was it. No smiley faces, no excitement. No, "Do you want to play?" Nothing. So I asked her, "Who are you playing with today?" She said, "Just some friends." I asked, "And that girl too?" She replied, "Yeah, she's actually really nice." I smiled. Then I sent her one screenshot, both of my accounts, side by side. Same amount of power, same pets, same pickaxes, same stats. There was no way to explain that coincidence. She didn't reply for almost 2 minutes. Then one message finally appeared. "Wait, that's you?" I answered with one word. "Yeah." For the next first few minutes, she kept sending huge messages. She said she was sorry. She said her friends had influenced her. She said she made a mistake. She said she wanted another chance. I never replied. She kept typing. Then another message appeared. Can we start over? I closed the chat, removed her from my friends list, and right before I left the game, a new friend request appeared. Then another one. Then a message from a different account. Then another friend request. I never opened any of them. Honestly, I already had the answer I was looking for. Not when she apologized, not when she begged me to come back. The answer came the day she walked into the next area with everyone else and left me standing alone with the weakest pickaxe in the games.